welcome back to Everything in Poderation, because sometimes the internet can be too much. I'm Colin Sparling, and today we are reacting to reaction videos. I am joined by my lovely hosts.
I'm Robert, and holy shit, I can't believe he just did that. Are you guys watching? Do you see that on the screen? Not on me, on my face. The other face, the face that I'm making in the reaction to their face. Our reaction video is so funny, guys.
Yeah, this is the third screen. There's many layers of screens here because we're reacting to the reactions of each other and the video itself, and we forget about the video at some point because we're too busy reacting to each other. I'm Daily.
I am so pumped to talk about this episode. This is something we've had in the works for a while now, and this is a thing that I suggested because I'm a huge reaction video nerd. I watch a lot of reaction video channels on YouTube, so I am definitely one of the target audiences for this sort of content. And I acknowledge that it's not all great, but we'll get into that. And I said you at the beginning there as a tribute to the YouTuber you, because he is a guy that would literally do reactions in the front seat of his car to like various albums and songs. And he kind of, I think he stopped releasing content, but he was like one of my favorite small creators. I was binging like his entire channel for like a couple of weeks. But before we get to reaction videos, we have a little bit of housekeeping. So last week we released our Super Straight episode, and boy howdy, did people have things to say about that.
People had thoughts and
yes.
statements and ideas.
Yes. Certainly.
And I mean, that's what we hope to elicit from our conversations, is more conversations. And maybe tweets.
Yeah. There was some definitely disagreements with some of the points we had in that episode. I think in some instances it was kind of clear that not everybody finished the episode. And who'd have thought, right? Can you believe it? But
54 minutes.
Yeah, we hear you. 54 minutes. Like we hear you, and we like there is a reaction there, and we were actually talking about doing a follow-up episode to kind of like hit on those points a little bit more. But yeah, I was not expecting that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Like maybe I should have, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I think it's the first time that any of our episodes have gotten such a negative reaction. Is that the right way to phrase it? Maybe. Yeah. So that's interesting, and we definitely appreciate that you guys are engaging with our content, and we'd love to maybe revisit it at some point in the future. Maybe doing a bit more research, right? Where I'm at though, I think that's the tough thing about podcast medium, right? Is that all of our arguments are made in layers, right? And all of our thoughts are made throughout the entire 54 minutes. So, it's hard. Like, we can't just, like, I listened back to that episode too, and there's no, like, I couldn't timestamp and point to one place and be like, that's it. That 1 minute is our entire stance, or even my entire stance on the super straight movement. I guess if I could, I would point to the super straight joke I made in the beginning about like how it's Super Saiyans, and I pretended it was like, you're not dealing with the average straight man, because that's like 80% of how I feel about it. But yeah, I think it's tough to like make arguments back and forth through podcasts and then through Twitter and then back through podcasts and back through Twitter. But we hear you. We respect your thoughts. I did read some of the links that you all sent. I do still disagree. And we can get into that maybe at some point in the future. But we do still appreciate you guys engaging with us.
Yeah. I think, and I did worry about in the episode itself, we came on pretty hot as far as like memeing on the super straights. But sure. I mean, I think we did have like a genuine conversation. And with that, people are going to have different takes, and that's fine. We anticipated that. Like you said, it's just nice to have engagement is cool. Having that, it's a conversation. But also, like Robert said, it's a very delayed conversation. It's like letter writing and versus tweeting versus the medium does not lend itself to having a very active conversation on that subject.
For sure. But that does allow us to talk a little bit more in depth from our side of things on why we feel the way we do about certain issues. And even after the responses, like I am grateful that we do have, like, I would be remiss if we didn't have people that disagree with us. I want people to disagree with us. That being said, that doesn't mean it's necessarily always going to change my view or anyone on this podcast view. And so I still feel the way that I felt in that episode, even weeks later or a week later. Yeah.
And one thing I do want to address too is I know that I hear people say this about a lot of podcasts, but I feel like maybe that this is something people can say about ours as well, in that the three of us tend to agree with each other about a lot of things. Like, we might disagree on like the little bits and pieces that make up the larger point of whatever we're talking about, but generally the three of us tend to have a similar take on things and stuff, right? I mean, obviously that's why we hang out and we pretend to be friends for an hour every week.
This isn't real.
This isn't real.
This friendship isn't real.
Oh no,
guys, you're hearing a breakup live on air.
Yeah. I think we need to see other podcasts.
Oh no.
No, but I will say, just as a way to maybe respond to that, I can promise you in this episode.
Is it going to be, it's not you, it's me?
No, I can promise you in this episode, there will be some pretty big disagreements about the core conceit of this episode.
Let's argue.
Yeah, so a little bit of
since we're apparently breaking up.
Yeah. Shout out to Anthony Fantano's Let's Argue series on YouTube, since we're talking about YouTubers today. Love you, Melon. You're great.
Great teeth.
Yes, but like I said, we have talked about doing another follow-up Super Straight video, so we will let you know if that comes to fruition. We'll keep you posted. Another housekeeping thing, we are getting new art done. Our resident artist, aka Daily, is working on some new art / branding for us for marketing materials. So be on the lookout for that. We're very excited about where it's going. It's not going to be too much different, so don't worry. Like the visual identity of this podcast isn't completely changing, but it is changing, and we think it's for the better.
It's pink.
It's pink. We love pink, and it's gonna be a bop. I'll make a tweet to make this make sense.
Oh, I think let's peek behind the curtain a bit. When you're hearing this, it is made. It has been already been done made. It's live.
So the tweet will be there, and you'll be like, I remember that tweet. There are benefits to also following us. You get in on these inside jokes.
Maybe we're opening the curtain a bit too much, because we're kind of sounding like the art hasn't been made yet. When clearly already, of course, the art's been done.
Wait, guys, we're missing out on an opportunity. We need to take our old art, sell that as an NFT.
Oh, shit. Which, by the way, seems to not be doing the best, I'm going to say. Since we last talked about NFTs, there's a lot of like, oh my God, this is worthless now, posts that I've seen where people have lost quite a bit of money or sunk quite a bit of money and are now like, was this worth it?
No, it was a quarantine thing for sure.
Yeah,
a quarantine moment. This would not have happened if we weren't all stuck at home.
It's gonna die on the vine. NFTs dying on the vine. That would be interesting, huh?
Yeah,
just like Vine.
I gotta say, new fiscal year, new us, new art, new everything, new vibes, angry vibes. We're gonna argue with each other today, apparently.
Yeah,
so breakup vibes, new. Angry vibes.
As we're releasing this, everyone's like, "Yeah, we kind of like the old art better." Why do you guys
fight
change?
Me?
No, I think it's going to be really good, and I'm super excited about it. And let us know what you guys think of the art, and maybe, I don't know, Daily could talk about it some more if she feels inclined.
Talk to me. Yeah. You know where to find me.
Yeah. But anyways, should we move on to the meat of the episode?
No.
Meat. Okay. I'm a vegetarian, actually, so no.
All right. Well, the meat is reaction YouTubers. We're turning to cannibalism now.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yeah. Reaction YouTubers, huge huge thing on YouTube over the past like 3-4 years. The some reaction channels have blown up so incredibly quickly. Like I can't even begin to fathom having that sort of momentum so quickly. So reaction YouTubers, in case you don't know, are people that quite frankly react to things. There are so many different kinds of reaction videos at this point that I kind of have lost track of them all. Like, there are basically subgenres of reaction videos. You want something reacted to, it probably exists. Just any sort of context. So, for reference, like there's channels like the Fine Bros, which they literally just rebranded and renamed their channel React, because that's
all big, all caps.
React.
Yeah. So that's like their entire identity now is just teens react, old people react, blah, blah, blah. Like just all the time. My personal favorite, like Lost in Vegas, they've blown the hell up because they were like self-proclaimed like big rap fans that were jumping into rock and metal. So a lot of those reactions blew up insanely quickly. And then you have like more nerdy, like nerd pop culture reactions like Tyrone Magnus. He blew up. I think Robert, you actually watch him a little bit.
I don't watch him much. He's just one of the ones I'm familiar with, just because like he's a Dragon Ball bro, and you know what? I get that.
Yeah, and even some of the smaller channels, quote unquote, have like easily blown up into the hundreds of thousands of subs. So obviously people are watching reaction YouTubers a lot. People love the hell out of them, and as someone who likes a lot of reaction stuff, I kind of can understand why, or at least I have my ideas of why. But I want to start off and ask you guys, but we'll start with Daily. What do you think of the reaction YouTuber movement?
Okay, so, and this is where maybe we're all gonna break up with each other, but I was never a big fan of the formula. I am gonna have a but here. But I have noticed that with more like, I guess, long form content of like watching someone watch something else. I've been doing that a lot with streamers. I've been watching like Hasanabi, like Hassan reacts to this and like a whole documentary, like a 20-minute video, like I'm watching it with him. And there is like a nice, like I have company kind of feeling. Like I wanted to watch this video, but I didn't want to give it like all of my attention, or I felt like I wanted, someone else to watch it with me. Like that's where my reaction video, I guess, like bandwidth has gone. But when you first proposed this episode, my mind immediately went to the Fine Bros and React World and that whole controversy. So I don't just off the bat didn't have a very positive opinion, but I do realize now that I guess in a way I do watch reaction YouTubers on Twitch.
A reaction Twitchers.
Twitch YouTubers. Twitch reaction does not compute.
I don't think that reactions are so much a genre of video anymore. It's more just a video format now, like just the reaction format. But yeah, Robert.
Yeah, so I had a very similar initial reaction to Daily where I'm like, God, I fucking hate reaction videos. I really go, because the thing is when someone says, yo, have you seen this reaction video? It conjures a very specific image in your mind of something like the big video is the video everyone's watching, and there's like a little screen where it's usually some schmuck who doesn't say much or do much, but they occasionally like, ha, oh shit. Wow. And like that's it. And that like really is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry. It's so boring to watch. And like I get that from because we're all social creatures. We like to see how other human beings react to stuff. That's just called like having a conversation, saying hello, etc. Like everyone's reacting.
Look at this meme.
Yeah, like everyone's reacting to everything all the time. Robert Scarpanito 2021. And because of that, I think reaction videos have blown up only because they capture a really quintessential part of the social experience, right? But then I thought about it a little more like Daily, and I'm like, okay, I do watch reaction videos, but I like the reaction videos that like have more to say than just, whoa, that was sick. wow, that was super cool, guys. Wow. Like, you know, when it's just that, it feels so like I can have that reaction. That's literally what I was thinking. I want to learn something from these videos, or I want to see a perspective that really is thought provoking and isn't just someone overacting for the camera, right? But that's also some of the appeal of it. So I'm a little bit like on the fence of whether I think reaction videos are art or not. And I think where I'm landing is most of them are shit. Some are fine. Very few are good.
Yeah.
Some
So
are
coming from
fine
the other
bros.
side of
Fine bros.
fine bros. Coming from the other side of it, like, yeah, the reaction videos that I do watch tend to be a little bit more educational, tend to be a little less of like, whoa, holy shit, like overacting for the camera. That actually does bother me, like, because a lot of those you can tell that they're just exaggerating, like the reaction just to get views, and I can't really tolerate that. Like, it's disingenuous. That's not what I'm watching. I want a genuine reaction and some thoughts, you know, like some really, you know, just thought out, you know, or not thought out, just generally, what is your brain saying to you? Give me that. I want to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And so Fine Bros React is like, it's very content farmy. It just kind of gets old after a while. And some of it's fine. Don't really have much of a problem with it. But when I really got into reaction videos was with Lost in Vegas, because they started jumping into, like, you know, music that I grew up with. You know, Alice in Chains, Metallica, Tool, all that stuff. And they blew up because of that. They started getting thousands upon thousands of subscribers, and it was just like super low production value. Two dudes sitting in front of their laptop with speakers and then pausing the music every once in a while to give their thoughts on the song so far. And what appeals to me about that is that it's essentially experiencing that song for the first time vicariously through someone else.
Ah.
Yeah. Because at this point, like, I don't know, the song like Sober by Tool is an extremely popular song. If you're into rock at all, you've probably even heard it in passing. I'm
sorry, Colin. Are you assuming that people in the world don't know about Tool, the greatest band in the world, the best ever band in the entire world?
Yeah, I mean, you can only listen to them in FLAC files, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
and hi-fi audio equipment,
Right.
et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And while you calculate the I don't know, the Polynesian fucking
Yep, which
equation
makes it
just
super
yeah,
accessible for everyone.
Are you trying to go for the Fibonacci sequence?
that
Yeah, the lateralis.
Polynesian.
Like, yeah.
Point being is, like, a lot of the songs that they were listening to, like, I grew up with, like, that's old hat by now, like that. That's just that those songs have been a part of my life as long as I can remember, right? And then for someone to, like, you know, grow up completely differently, not really come across these songs in the wild, but then listen to them for the first time, and not only that, but like realize, like, oh, these songs are genuinely great. Like, it's not just because you grew up with them, like, these songs are genuinely great, and here's my thoughts as to why. From someone who's never experienced them before. That's the type of YouTuber that really appeals to me when it comes to these reaction videos. There are other people that I go to for different reasons, and a lot of it is like stemmed around music for me personally. There's reaction videos for everything now.
Everything.
But a majority of reaction videos for me are music, right? They're reacting to that song that I know or this new song. I watched some people that also are like super engaged with like a certain genre, like Metal Burb or Nick Nocturnal. They're like big metal YouTubers, and they talk and know the genre well. So they're giving opinions about like the latest song that's coming out and metalcore or whatever it is. And so that's like, okay, they grew up with this, they know it. Here's their thoughts about it, and it's an educated opinion based on their taste, and they already know the genre well. So they're gonna let you know if, like, you know, they're doing anything new or different, unique, etc. So they just go in more niche, which is why I like them. They're hitting the lesser known stuff rather than the bigger YouTubers that are hitting the more well known stuff to appeal to a bigger audience.
Okay.
Yeah.
This says a lot to me as to why you like reaction, because I was surprised when you said that. I really want to talk about reaction YouTubers. I like reaction YouTubers, and I was like, that doesn't sound like Colin, but okay. That it is
Really?
So
you were probably
thinking,
related.
Like, the shitty, like what many people think
I was thinking
when
like
you hear reaction YouTuber, right?
Yeah, because like music was the furthest thing from my mind, but that makes so much sense for you as a person.
Yeah.
But because there's so much variety there and so many different reactions that you can get. Whereas in my head, reaction YouTubers has been attached to like the Fine Bros and like their, you know, pillar series like Elders React and Children React, which you can only have so many reactions to, where like elders are like, wow, it wasn't like this in my time, and then kids being like, whoa, cool.
After a while, it's just not adding
only have
anything
so
new.
much.
Adding anything new to the
Whereas
conversation.
with music, I can totally see people from different genres, from different walks of life, would have a lot to say and contribute.
Right. So,
Exactly.
So here's where I land with this. Like, well, let's stick with the music as a good parameter, right? To speak in things in example instead of in theoreticals. So I am not like, I don't follow Lost in Vegas like you do, Colin, but like we live together. So of course I've seen many Lost in Vegas videos just because, you know,
Right.
we only have there's a big screen out there, and when you're watching it, I watch
Shout
it
out to Ryan and George.
Yeah, shout out to them. Great.
Guys.
They're fun. Stop holding your mic though. So like seriously, they grab it
Dude, every time they're doing. You can't see this because it's not video, but like they grab their mic like this.
Right.
Get your hand off of it.
So I think this is a really good thing where what I'm seeing now is the next evolution of reaction videos, which is X type of person reacts to Y type of content, right? And so I would describe Lost in Vegas. Obviously, they don't call their channel this, but their channel is essentially hip hop heads react to metal, classic rock, right? Like things you don't expect your average hip hop head to listen to. And that's where the interesting thing lies, is because you get to explore, especially if you yourself aren't a hip hop person, but if you're really a big fan of metal, you get to see like, how do other people see this thing that I really, really like, right? So I think there's a lot of interest in that. There's a lot of interest I can understand. It's not my thing. At least that specifically is not my thing, but there are a few other things that are definitely my jam that are in that ilk, but I get the appeal of that. However, someone like Nick Nocturnal, no offense, seems like a nice guy, is just metal fan reacts to metal. And I'm like, no shit. Yeah. I can listen to that same metal song and probably come away with similar insights. Because I've noticed with Nick's content, it's not very like, it's not very in depth beyond maybe pointing out a weird time signature sometimes, or like, oh, that gallop is sick, bro, which I can think that because I can hear that Iron Maiden song and be like, yep, that is a gallop, that is sick. Cool, Yeah. So those reactions are meaningless to me. No offense.
I understand.
Yeah, well, more no offense to Nick too, in case he's listening, because obviously we got millions of people listen to us.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
millions.
Yeah, just because it's very surface level. It's very, if someone is listening to metal of their own accord, they probably already have some investment in metal as a sound. And because of that assumption, I assume that they would have some cognizant ability to judge that song on their own accord. And I don't need to see someone else do that.
I would argue, though, maybe this is more in terms of like layman versus subject matter expert, like expert, because I find I learn the most from like I really liked that series, and I believe he became a full-time YouTuber after doing a couple of those series with Wired. It was like the accent coach or like linguistic coach reacts to so many accents from whatever. And I learned a lot from that because it was the subject matter expert, and maybe it was a more, esoteric subject to begin with. Mm-hmm. But I find that those kind of reaction videos I learn a lot from. But maybe if it's just, like you were saying like a layman that's like, oh, that was what was a gallop?
Yeah.
That was a great gallop.
That's the triplet.
Then it's like, as a layman or someone that's interested in that, of course I know what that is, and of course I can recognize that's awesome. Whereas I can't appreciate the subtleties of Daenerys's accent.
I didn't know what you were going to say after that.
Speaking Dothraki. I couldn't remember Dothraki.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not to say like Nick is a layman, because I know he plays, like, he's way more skilled at guitar than I am. I know that he makes music and makes better music than I ever probably could. Maybe I haven't tried hard enough, but I bet, right? So yeah, he's not like this average metal person. Like, he knows quite a bit about metal, I'm willing to bet. It's just that I've seen a lot of his reactions don't really go into like the nitty gritty of like why this sounds metal, why this goes hard, why is it good that he's using a double bass here, etc. It's just kind of like, whoa, that was sick, what a cool sweep picking motion, that was a rad solo, you know, like just surface level stuff.
Tell me why.
Yeah, and to hit on that, so Nick in particular doesn't just do reaction videos. It's more so like, I like him from his other stuff, and I also want to see what he thinks about A, B, and C song or whatever as it comes out. And I go into his videos knowing that he's not going to give like an in-depth analysis. It's more so like his tastes really align with mine, and for the most part, and so I really want to see what his opinion is on this thing. And it's more so like, this is the type of dude I would be friends with or hang out with, that sort of opinion. Now, if I'm looking for something a little bit more analytical, I mean, there's tons of those too. Like I love Cardivox Academy a ton. He does like Vocal Coach reacts to like metal song or whatever, and because he like does like screaming vocals and stuff himself, and he's like really well trained, so he can break down like, this is the mouth movement he's doing for this, and blah blah blah. Same thing with like Composer reacts to A, B, and C song, or like guitarist reacts, or jazz drummer reacts. That's another one. I love those ones. Yeah. But so it just depends on my mood, really. It's really what it comes down to. But there's a reaction video for fucking everything. So
right. And that's where it gets into like, those are the kind of reaction videos I like. Because when I think about like, when I thought beyond what I initially thought of what reaction videos are, I think to Corridor Crew, right? CGI artists react to whatever movie, whatever stunts, whatever the fuck, right? And it's like, I like those because it's not just them watching the scene and being like, whoa, that was sick. But it goes further into like exploring how CGI technology has changed since the 80s, or how they could have done that stunt, etc. Like there's an educational moment to it, right?
Plus they managed to get some crazy behind the scenes footage for some of these really obscure movies, which kind of impresses me more than anything else in the video.
Yeah, they're very plugged in. Or I think of Alex Mukala, who does he kind of blew up in the past year over the pandemic because he did those music producer reacts to video game soundtracks, right? The videos that got him really popular were like when he was analyzing the Persona 5 soundtrack, which one of my favorites, obviously. But
dun, 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 dun. Copyright strike us.
There you go. Bam, last surprise.
I dare you.
But what I liked about his videos too is they're not just him listening and being like, whoa, that was cool, period. And right, like he does those moments because he's one of those like, you know, enthusiasm is caught, not taught kind of people. Like you just catch his enthusiasm. But he's also literally a music producer. Like he goes in and maps these things in software, like notes on a software chart, so you can like see them and follow along. And he explains the chord progressions, or he explains like why this technique works in your brain and fits that moment in the game or something like that. Like there's a learning curve to it where I walk away appreciating those soundtracks more deeply than just knowing this other person on YouTube also appreciates the soundtrack. Cool, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different types of reaction videos out there now that it's like I said, it's more so its own format. Like it's something. It's like a genre that has its own subgenres now. It's a whole fucking thing. It's a whole type of content. And there's so many different types, like ways of doing it, that we could sit here and talk all day about all the different types. And then get into like creators beyond that. But just want to give a little bit of background. So when did reaction videos become a thing? Well, according to Wikipedia, online, one of the first viral reaction videos was that of a child reacting to the Scary Maze game prank on YouTube in 2006. That is some old internet shit right there. That is like funnyjunk.com back in the day. like pre and post YouTube. And then beginning in 2007, videos began to proliferate on the internet. Among their first topics were reactions to the scat fetish pornography trailer, 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Wait, so the video itself that went around, it was just the trailer?
I guess so.
Amazing.
But I remember that going around in school. Like I was in like 6th, 7th grade when I first heard about that.
And also, Daly, are you saying that you need to see the whole video to truly understand how fucked up it is, or is the trailer not enough for you? Is what you're?
The trailer is very communicative of what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, give the whole sauce in the comments.
Yeah. Let's make sure to be courteous.
Yeah, exactly. And then by 2011, videos of people recording themselves reacting to film trailers had become a staple of services such as YouTube. Now, I feel like getting reactions from people about certain things, like that's been a thing for a long time, but I feel like reactions to music and everything, like reactions has been really huge like the past 5 or 6 years. Like I feel like it's a lot of the YouTube algorithmed suggestions in my feed and in general.
I have a theory about why that has proliferated too. It's just easy content to make, and at this point, YouTube rewards you for more uploads versus like quantity over quality. At this point, I think it's safe to say. So it's easy to just be like, "Hey, this new trailer dropped. I'm gonna make a reaction video real quick and give a couple thoughts, and then that's my upload for the day."
Yeah.
You know.
Absolutely. And that's kind of the topic that I wanted to touch on next was a lot of reaction videos, for the most part, are pretty low in production quality. And obviously one of the original pillars of YouTube was, anyone could be a YouTuber, right? Like not super difficult, like point the camera at yourself, make content. And a lot of people are hurling criticism at a lot of reaction videos because they're just so easy to make, and a lot of these people are getting a shitload of views and subscribers because of it, even though it's pretty low-hanging fruit in terms of effort, right? Mm-hmm. So like what do you guys think of that? Is that a fair criticism or no?
I think broadly speaking it's a fair criticism, because you see a lot of people who do those really boring reactions, right? Like I think there's this one video that was going around Reddit a few weeks ago. I think Colin, you showed it to me. It's like, so the main video is of that woman making those weird nachos, but instead of like putting it in a bowl like a normal goddamn human being, she like makes the nachos on the counter, like spreads the cheese out on the counter and chips and salsa and all that shit.
Delicious.
It's gross. But I didn't just see the video. I saw some dude's reaction to the video, and it was just him holding up his iPhone or whatever, pointing it at his face and just laughing at it or saying like, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that. Oh, gross," right? And it's like, that didn't add anything to me. But at the same time, I bet that didn't take that dude any longer than if he had just watched the video on his own and not made content and not made however much money he probably would have made based on ad rev, right? Like it's so low effort that it feels like it's this weird mix of why didn't I think of doing that, but also I don't want to do that because that's so low effort, right? Like I could just point a camera at myself all day while scrolling through Reddit, and then once I have like that nice 1-minute clip of me having a good reaction to something, post it to YouTube, and I'm done, which sucks. And it just makes you think of all of that content out there as kind of meh or bad. But then you do occasionally have the ones who do catch lightning in a bottle, right? But they're so few and far between that it really is like a personality game. As in like you need to have someone with the right personality, the right presentation, the right jokes, the right humor to really carry that low production value beyond the low production value,
Yeah, you get out of it what you put into it, and I think a good portion of the time people are just like not putting in a lot of effort, even in terms of like not production quality but just like enthusiasm. It's like, oh yeah, it's a trailer, cool. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that didn't give me anything. Like it's one thing to watch, lifelong Star Wars fan cry at the trailer for the final movie, and I feel like moved by that, and like, wow, this is like, you know, been his whole life has been leading up to this, that kind of thing, versus, you know, like, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Rey looks cool. Oh, she did a backflip. Finn, where's Finn?
God, where is Finn? I am pretty split about it, because at the same time it's kind of the return of very classical YouTube content, like kind of very simple, turn on the camera, record yourself, like low production value, post it up. And that's kind of cool, but at the same time, when you have people like, you know, Fine Bros, like it's just a content farm based around reactions, and like we're gonna take advantage of this like very low effort format and just make it a big thing, and that's all we're going to do. You know, I don't know if it's, the word disingenuous comes to mind, but I don't know if that's a fair thing to say. It also comes back to like, do you ever watch like a popular or semi-popular YouTuber talk about like the state of their channel, right? And they always talk about how, or at least I've seen it talked about several times, that like, oh, I put like so much effort into this video. It took like weeks of planning, hours of writing. This much filming happened. It took hours to edit, and then it just underperforms.
Yeah.
But then they just throw out there like a 2-minute like spur of the moment idea for a video, and they just flick on the camera, they record it, and that's what gets millions of views, like a shitload. Mm-hmm. And so like next thing you know, I mean, the algorithm is not encouraging people to put a shitload of effort into their video. It's just not, you know, for the most part. You know, there are some exception, but like mostly it's low effort content that gets rewarded. A lot, like Daly said, of content quantity, you know, rather than quality.
Yeah, which we touched on a lot in our Is YouTube Too Corpo episode, about like Video Game Donkey was like, this isn't worth it anymore. I'm gonna have fucking Minecraft Wednesdays and Minecraft Fridays and Minecraft Saturdays and Minecraft Sundays now, because
a little bit of
that's where the money is.
Among Us Tuesdays. Thank you. A big fan of Among Us Tuesdays.
Never mind Among Us Tuesdays. And where is Jake? What was the peanut butter thing? Anyway,
yeah, it was like Drama Mondays or some shit.
Drama Mondays, and then Among Us Mondays, and then there's also more Minecraft, and because that's what YouTube has been ultimately rewarding.
And I think the funny thing is, when he did that experiment, those videos still did perform very well. And I don't know if part of it's just because, like, I mean, Donkey has a lot of fans, of course. I think all three of us are fans of his stuff in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And so I can't tell if it's just like his fan base just genuinely wanting to support it, or if there is some crossover, like Among Us Tuesdays did get some traction with people who normally wouldn't watch Donkey because it's a daily Among Us video sort of vibe, right?
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder. I am the keystone, the daily part.
Yes. But I mean, like, you know, if you watch that that era of Donkey content, I mean, he was very clearly making a statement, right, about YouTube itself, and he was playing with it in the way he does, because he gets a little satirical sometimes.
Yeah, I really wonder why too, because it's why these videos get so many views. It's even the smallest of people that just decide to hop on YouTube and make reaction videos. I mean, those videos still have thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of views, depending on what they're reacting to. They just get algorithmed. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just taking the internet by storm. The algorithm just really likes these types of videos. And as content creators, I mean, that's got to be frustrating, right? It feels like you're just being put in a box. You know, it's not the same as reaction videos, but like a huge YouTube channel, 10-second songs. You know, Anthony, he changed the name of his channel to his actual name itself, like completely rebranded, because he was tired of being stuck in a box. Mm-hmm. Like he was tired of being in the you know, songs in many styles format, and so he wanted to change up his content, and because he just felt stuck, and that's at the behest of sacrificing millions of views. You know, now he's going the way of having a smaller yet dedicated following. And the numbers on his videos show. you know?
Yeah. And actually that lends itself well to a much bigger point I wanted to make about reaction videos, in that I've come to the conclusion most videos on YouTube are reaction videos. And I don't mean that in the like everything is a reaction, like everything is titled reacts to, etc. I mean,
Sure.
everything mostly is a reaction video, even if it doesn't say it's a reaction video. And I think there's this one person who is the quintessential, I made a video, didn't expect it to blow up, now I'm obligated to be a YouTuber. And it's Shiran J. Zhao, I think is how you say her name. She's a Chinese Canadian author who did this like 50-minute rant video about everything wrong with the 2020 Mulan Disney movie, like the live action one. And it wasn't just like why it was a bad movie, but she dove into like Chinese mythology and history and to explain how Mulan failed to represent things very clearly. But I don't believe that video was titled like Chinese person reacts to or Chinese historian or author reacts to, right? It was just everything wrong with Mulan. But that was a reaction video. The reason you watched it is because you wanted to see someone who is well versed and educated in the stuff to react to and give their thoughts on Mulan, the movie. And then she went on to make more videos in that ilk, like about Mulan 1998 and like Avatar The Last Airbender. And in those, she jokes about how she's now obligated to be a YouTuber, which is kind of funny. But I think that kind of gets at the core of a lot of content out there is reaction driven, because we want to see people react to things.
Yeah. Come to think of, maybe I do really love reaction videos because I am an avid fan of like BookTube, where it's just like a whole lot of book reviews, or like I'm gonna read this book, or like if you liked this book, you should read this book, which is inherently a reaction to one's own experience with a book.
Mm-hmm. Or like
but now in video.
Yeah, like Let's Plays are another example, right? Like, I mean, yes, Let's Plays are their own genre of video, but it's also like the reason you watch it is because you want to see how PewDiePie will react to that thing, or how Markiplier will react to, you know, the ending of the Life is Strange. I don't know if he's played that game or not, but you know what I mean? Like that's a really big pull, especially if you're someone who has played Life is Strange, haven't heard of Markiplier, watched a lot of Markiplier, but you're curious, what does Markiplier think of the ending? You're watching to see his reaction to the stuff.
So somebody listening to this podcast, like they're going to go in like, I fucking hate reaction YouTubers. And they're going to come out the other side of this like, it's everything. It's all reaction tubers. It's all this reaction. Whole time.
I mean, like
it's the meme on the moon.
Always has been.
The moon meme. Always has been.
Like the thing that really clicked this for me is because I when we were going into this, recording this episode, I thought about, okay, what's my YouTube junk food? What's my YouTube trash catalog that I like to just roll in and feel the filth of it, right? And I think a lot of like comedy people, I think of Drew Gooden, right? A lot of his stuff is reacting to things. Like he like talks about shitty holiday movies on Netflix, and it's not just talking about them.
I love that. Yeah. I loved those videos.
Yeah, but a lot of them is him playing a scene and he reacts to it. But like he creates his own comedy on top of it, right? So to say it's a reaction video is a little bit reductive, but it's still this concept of you and him experience a thing together, and then you are reveling in your reaction and his reaction and jokes on top of it. Or think of that breakout JonTron flex tape video. I don't say you've never heard of it because like 60+ million people have seen it. I know you've seen it. That's just him reacting to a bunch of commercials, right? Like, I mean, he makes skits on top of it, and that's like his shtick, and he's great at it. But it's still him watching a flex tape infomercial, making jokes, yelling at Phil on the TV, and you're laughing at it because it's JonTron reacts to flex tape.
So 90% of YouTube is actually just skits and reactions.
That's it. That's all it is.
And then people playing instruments.
Yeah.
Is the
and
other
then
10%.
Us reacting
to them.
To that. Is Life a reaction video?
Life is just one long reaction video.
Yes.
You heard it first here. I mean, we're coming to some major revelations here on everything in Poderation today.
Yeah.
Just kind of blowing the lid off of this bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, wow. I mean, this is. I definitely didn't think we were going to come to this conclusion, but I'm happy with it nonetheless.
Yeah.
This is a straight up revelation, and I did want to ask like why we thought these videos get so many views, but I think we kind of really hit on it. You know, like it's the human experience. We want to see how other people react to things and what they think, and in some cases maybe we want to feel justified. Do you think that's a big motivation why we like reaction videos? You guys think that it's a lot of it like maybe it's something we already like and we just want to feel justified in our opinions on things?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, I'd say in some ways like the opposite. It's like I hate this thing and I want to see someone else hate on this thing.
I want to be justified in my hatred.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is maybe negative, but it can be just about benign things like bad books or bad Hallmark Christmas movies.
Or The Girl Defined.
Oh my God. Yeah. There's a lot of like it's not titled that way, but it's so and so reacts to Girl Defined.
Yeah.
That is its own genre in the genre, sub genre.
Guys, what if we came up with a reaction channel? What would we call it? EIP Reacts? Podcasters Reacts?
Humans React to. Mouth breathers react to.
Humans react to nature, and it's just a bunch of nature is metal videos, and it's just a bunch of fucking animals tearing each other apart.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm excited for our new series.
A question I want to dive into here, actually, because I'll be honest. So, like, a lot of these thoughts that I walked in with, I did have them, but I didn't like think far enough to understand how that would change the tone of our entire episode. Because I think Daly and I walked in with a very like fucking reaction videos, man. They fucking suck. So I think maybe, and here's the thing, is I think there are probably a lot of other people out there who have that same feeling toward reaction videos, right? So maybe it's more interesting to dive into why does the concept of a reaction video get such a bad rap, right? Is it because of the Fine Bros? Did they single-handedly like taint that idea?
Man, I did a reread of that controversy, and I mean,
wait. So when you say controversy, are you talking about how they like tried to copyright the word react and things like that?
Okay, so it isn't as simple as that. And it does kind of boil down to people were more worried about what they were going to do than what they had already done. In the sense that they were like, hey, we're doing like React World, and you can basically like rent out the React format and use like our assets and our formula, and you would be making the content yourself. You would be like Elders React, but it's like elders from your local elder home, I guess, and getting them to react to things that you want them to react to.
Oh, that's scummy. That sounds really scummy to me.
But like, yeah, you're renting the brand basically. But the way people took it, which in itself, yeah, not great, but the way people took it was much worse in the idea that they were like, oh, you're trying to copyright React, and if anyone does a reaction video, you're gonna like come after them. Because previously they had thrown shade, I guess, on like celebrities like Ellen, where it's like, wow, Ellen copied our children react to formula and didn't even mention us or like give us a shout out. That's not cool. Like, in their words, they were like, not cool. And that was a deleted Facebook post, probably for obvious reasons.
Oof. Well, because the way that comes across to me is like, yeah, you can rent out our brand, like go ahead and make content under our name for us, so we can make money off of your content that you made for us.
I mean, that's just franchising. That's what McDonald's and Subway does.
They wanted to franchise.
Yeah, but I don't know, from like a content perspective, that just, it's like, okay, but these people could make their own content,
yeah,
and make reaction content themselves and make all the money themselves. Like,
just wanted to create the reaction world ecosystem.
Yeah, the world of reaction. Yeah.
Capitalism.
Yeah, that was the whole thing was just rubbed people the wrong way, and it didn't help that I think the Fine Bros haven't always had, I guess, the best of reputations because of having like a content farm And I remember a certain Degrassi parody that they were involved in alongside Shane Dawson, and there was some pretty flagrant blackface going on. So that's where my vision of the Fine Bros is tainted.
I don't know much about the Fine Bros beyond maybe seeing a handful of their videos.
They don't seem fine, though.
No, probably not.
They're not okay, bros.
Yeah. And I mean, even if we put them aside, there is that perception, right, of reaction videos being low effort, like Colin posited earlier, right? And maybe part of it is kind of pushed by the Fine Bros, but there's just, I'm pretty sure it's a lot easier to find a low effort reaction video than it is to find a video of the production quality of JonTron Reacts to Flex Tape, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But then the part of it too is that JonTron video isn't a quote unquote reaction video. It's not in that reaction video genre. It's just that his reactions are what elicits the funny, the laughter, the joy, right? And it's what people keep coming back for, is to see him react to other things. It's just that's not the front and center part of the brand. That's not the JonTron brand, right? Or that's not the Drew Gooden brand. You're not, like, he's not saying, watch me react to things. It's just that he happens to react to things and it's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes back to, like, production value aside, format aside, it boils down to who's on the camera and what's their personality like. Because that's what I'm going to gravitate toward the most. That's why I watch Lost in Vegas. I subscribe to them on Patreon, full disclosure. Like, I love those guys because they're upfront about what they like. They're honest, you know, and they put out good quality content. I like the songs that they choose, and they go in depth, and it's their personality. It's not their production value. That doesn't draw me in. I mean, that's a nice bonus. That's a nice to have, right? But I was watching them when it was just two dudes in front of a webcam, you know, and it's their personality. I mean, I watch a lot of low effort YouTube. I mean, Moist Critical, fucking huge YouTuber. People love Moist Critical. I love Charlie. Charlie's great. And his production is extremely, I mean, he puts out multiple videos a day, and it's because he's so low production value that he's able to do that, you know? And
yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. See ya. But he also does that too. I think it was Alana Pierce that actually made this point, and I was like, that makes a lot of sense, because Alana Pierce, big games journo / covers games, writes for the God of War team, Sony Santa Monica now, and she has her own podcast, does a lot of stuff, does a lot of content. But she talks about how, like, her streaming setup is deliberately low effort, because even though they may be quote unquote famous or big, it looks accessible to people. They look like normal people, which, I mean, they are, but, like, it doesn't look like they spent a shitload on production. It doesn't look inaccessible. It doesn't look like they're detached from their fan base. You know what I'm saying? It looks like anyone can flick on their webcam and talk into a microphone.
Which would that, like, kind of contribute to, like, that parasocial relationship you have, where it's almost like I'm just on Discord with Charlie versus, like, I am watching a YouTuber with millions of subscribers making a YouTube video that is, like, literally an investment in them making it.
I mean, it makes you think of those really annoying YouTubers that are like, check out my $1 billion mansion. Here's my house tour. Here's my 30th.
The 100 Thieves Cash App compound.
Yeah, where everything's sponsored by fucking Totinos and banks. No, but there is content like that. And obviously it does well. You know, there's no shortage of mansion tours that are like hundreds of millions of views, etc., right? Like, I people like the extravagance, I guess, but I've never seen a video like that and felt like that's someone I want to hang out with. But when you see that level with Critical or with Alana Pierce, you can more easily relate to them, and I, at least personally, feel like those are people I'd like to get a beer with sometime, right? Because they just seem like fun, charming, down to earth ish individuals, right? And to tie it back to reaction videos too, like, that was a lot of Critical's content for a while there, right? Like, where he'd react to things. But I did see him recently post a video that was just called Stop, where he was telling his audience, hey, fucking stop harassing the people that I react to, because he reacts to, like, some, let's say, people on camera who are less than talented sometimes, and then people in his fan base go to those channels and like comment, I don't know, haha, you suck or whatever, and then he's now has to tell his people, hey, don't do that, and that's why I haven't been doing reaction videos much, which maybe is like a whole other dark side of reaction videos in general, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I think that's an interesting thing about, like, again, Charlie's just another one of those people where it's not like Critical reacts to XYZ. It's just he just watched a thing.
Yeah.
Watch
And I mean,
Darman videos.
To be fair, like he's already big, right? You know, like, I mean, he didn't do his face reveal until he was already pretty big, and now he's able to make this low effort looking content. It's almost like a bell curve, right? Like you have to like scale up your production, and then like once you hit a peak, a focal point, then like you already have a following, so it's like people are going to watch your content for you anyway,
right?
No matter the production value, of course, as long as it's watchable. But let this be a lesson, kids. The quality of your video doesn't matter nearly as much as your audio.
Well,
we love audio.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here at our purely audio production.
And
I'm serious. Like, I don't care what your exposure or anything like that on your video really looks like, as long as it sounds okay and it's not going to grate my ears.
yeah, and I don't know. I feel like it's a little too reductive, because I think there's something to be said for pretty good visuals in a video. You know.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. Like, I love videos. That's just a nice to have, though, because if you're like making a video like essay or something like that, I care a lot more about what it sounds like than what it looks like. Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say. You know. But visuals are a great thing too. Like fucking, what's that one YouTube channel with all the crazy animations? Not Dare Wonder Fizz. Geez, that's zombies.
Oh, Kurzgesagt.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yes, love that. But yeah, low effort stuff is cool too.
Yeah, that's why
good content's good content, and personalities, good personalities are good personalities.
Yeah, so tune into our next episode where we're gonna give you an audio tour of our $1 trillion mansion. We won't have any video or anything, but you gotta promise you guys, $1 trillion mansion, 50 rooms.
Listen, all we gotta do is like put a shitload of echo onto our audio,
gosh,
make it sound like we're in a huge mansion.
Yeah,
like I'm currently stepping over a diamond encrusted peacock and like very obvious stock sound, like
like this is our junior master bedroom, and this is our hangar. We just have a hangar.
Yeah. Welcome back to everything in Poderation.
This is where we spend all our crazy ad revenue that we make off of this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
All the AdSense money paid for. You guys paid for this.
Thanks, guys, for our $1 million mansion.
$1 trillion. $1 trillion.
I was about to say $1 million won't get you a lot these days.
Yeah.
That's not a mansion. That's an apartment.
All right. I get the sense that we're wrapping up here. So closing thoughts on reaction videos?
Whoa.
Wow.
Cool.
Whoa.
I hate what you think of when someone says a reaction video, but everything is a reaction video, and those are okay.
Yeah. I'm my mind is kind of blown. I'm still like hung up on the meme of like it's all reaction videos.
All reactions, yeah. I mean, they're not reaction videos, but you watch them for the reactions of the people you like.
I thought I'd just be salty as fuck this whole episode, but y'all blew my mind.
I'm over here changing hearts, y'all. That's why I host episodes. I'm here changing lives.
Dang, Colin, thanks. Thanks, Colin.
I'm glad I could bring about the joy that is reaction videos. And I shout out to all the reaction YouTubers out there. And, you know, as long as you're likable and you have something good to say, or you have something to say that's thought out, well, you know what? You probably make quality content. Shout out to all the YouTubers out there that are doing good shit. We appreciate you.
But only if you have good audio, motherfucker. Only good audio.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged. All right. This has been another episode of Everything in Poderation. I hope you guys enjoyed. We definitely want to hear about any reaction YouTubers you guys really like. Please write it down in the comments. Email us at everythinginpoderation@gmail.com or everythinginpod@gmail.com. At everythinginpod on the Twitters. You guys can add us there too. Yeah, I think that's pretty much
Make
it.
a reaction video.
Yeah. Hey,
everyone make a reaction video to this entire podcast.
actually, real talk. If you can somehow pull off a reaction to a podcast, I don't know how, but if you do, let us know. I'm curious what that would be like.
Wouldn't that just be going through our video and just like arguing with us at any given point?
No, it'd be like, have you guys seen that that meme? It's that picture of like it's like a little sign of like three girls laughing with each other and chatting, and then there's just this kid sitting there like ecstatic, and he's like eating ice cream, and he's like laughing his fucking ass off
next to the sign
the
flat
of three
sign.
girls, and the caption's usually something like me when I listen to my favorite podcast or something. I feel like it's that.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love actually I just nostalgia trip. You guys remember when YouTube used to have a reply function where you could make like reply videos?
Yes.
That's not a thing. They killed that like what 5 or 6 years ago at least. That was a long time ago.
Because anyone could do it.
Yeah, but it hasn't
any video.
People.
It would be like blankety blank my reply, and then it would actually be like below the video you were watching. Like here's a response video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now it's just dramatic, like my response : something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm sure they did
channel.
that just because, you know, that could probably create a lot of volatility depending on the space.
Yeah.
Bring it back, YouTube. I dare you.
Now there's no volatility on YouTube. Thank God.
None.
Not a little bit.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait.
We're good now.
Wait, is Keemstar gone, guys? Did I miss it?
He left. Just of his own. He didn't even need to be banned or anything. He just kind of like had a change of heart and was like, yeah, I'm gone. I'm good.
If only.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Oh, and next week we're going to talk about cancel culture. So if you have hot takes, email.
Yes.
Oh yeah, give us your hot takes.
Email.
Yes, please. Email. Twitter. Tell us things.
Yes. And also, don't forget rebranding. That's happening.
It has happened.
Daly's doing
Compliment my skills.
Yes.
I'm just fishing for compliments with all this.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. See you next week.